So in the last video, I was a little bit harsh. I called Teddy a clown. People didn't like that. People called me bald. That hurt my feelings.
You are bald.
Shut the fuck up.
Yep.
So what I would like to do is apologize and say that I didn't mean to be so harsh. I got a little carried away because I didn't appreciate that the list had so many watches on it. But Teddy, I'm saying this to you. I respect you. You're a great content creator, and I'm sorry. And this face is for you.
That was an awesome face and all, Chris. I'm cringing on behalf of everyone watching right now, but I think we can take this another step further.
Yeah.
We're going to rate and use Nico's rating system on pretty much every watch creator we can.
We judge everyone?
Well, not everyone, but we judge
so
some
that our
of the
videos never get a view ever again.
That's right.
Using Nico's list?
Using Nico's list.
Oh, people are going to hate us for this.
Oh yeah, we're stealing it right out of Nico's shelf here.
Okay, I really don't want to be doing this, but we're going to do it anyways.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's what we're doing, Chris. We got to get tiering,
We got tiering. Who are we starting with?
Well, you know what we did is that we started this episode based off of a great list, which was already developed by
Watchfinder.
That was a list that Chris here found, and it's a pretty good list.
That's pretty solid, actually. There's a lot of content creators that I wasn't familiar with, though.
Definitely. So that's part of it. So I think that that's a great spot that we start off of, and it just so happens that...
You know, earlier you mentioned that's not a flattering photo, and I disagreed. I didn't think it was that bad, but now that I see it a second time, it's not flattering.
It's really not. I really feel bad for Adrien Barker here.
He's a handsome man. He deserves better.
He really does, and he's a great content creator. He produces some great stuff.
I really like him. I've never tried one of his straps, though.
Yeah, you know, I actually haven't either. I think mainly because they're more Euro-focused, US-focused, that for us in Canada, just with duties and everything, it's like cheaper to go with other suppliers or just other people in general. But in terms of content, what do you think about Bark and Jack / Adrien Barker?
I've always really liked this content. I really like the aesthetic of his studio. I really like his character, his personality. I find he enunciates very well. He's very interesting.
Yeah.
So where would you place him on the tier list?
Well, you know, the great thing about him, you know, I'll let you lead off, but what I'll say first is that the thing that I really love...
Well, I realized we f***ed up on our list, actually, because would buy should be would watch.
Oh.
Because we're not buying them.
That's a good point.
We're not trafficking humans.
I think that it's a good note that we are not buying these content creators. This is not a silent auction for people.
Okay, but
I think that should be noted.
Anyways, listen, I think it's kind of like self-explanatory. He's pretty class.
He's very class. His videos are very practical. He shoots a lot in the wild. Like I still remember one of his videos in the Black Bay 58, which he owns personally, is him, you know, by a beach in England by his place, or him just kind of hiking and showing it in different terrains and actually kind of fulfilling its purpose.
Yeah. So I actually that video was one of the videos I watched before buying my Black Bay 58.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So I think for him, we got to put him way up there.
All right. Fair enough.
I think he's up there.
He's up there.
Let's place him up there. Who do we got next, guys?
Jenni Elle?
So Jenni Elle, I'm not super familiar. I've seen a lot of reels. I've seen some short videos. I've never gone super in depth. So maybe you could take charge on this one in reviewing her content.
I haven't watched a video of hers in a while, if I'm honest.
Right.
But when I first started getting into watch collecting, I was consuming a lot of her content.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I really did like it.
I seem to remember that her and her husband are both kind of collectors, and it's nice to see that she is as well. She's obviously super immersed into it, pretty knowledgeable.
It was her husband too. I could have swore that was Britt Pierce, whose husband collects watches.
Don't call me sexist in the comments, please. I'm very sorry.
No, but you actually might be right. I think both of them, their husbands are into watch collecting as well.
Right. Okay.
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not a pig.
That would be pretty nice, eh?
It would be nice
to have a partner that was into watches.
It would probably be the best thing on earth. Well,
wouldn't it?
It's kind of a double-edged sword, though.
Why?
You have to, well, think about it.
Because you
get married.
Sharing is caring.
You got to share your watch collecting budget. That's your one sacred, sort of untouchable thing.
Yes and no. Yes and no. A lot of women, including both of them actually, do wear slightly larger watches.
That is true. I've seen
and
a
I wear
sub,
slightly smaller watches. So I don't see why we couldn't just combine our budgets and have a superior collection, and then I have access to more pieces.
That's actually, you know
right?
what? But that's kind of like a Cinderella story of finding the perfect woman.
Yeah, okay.
She's also got to be like 6'4" and like blonde.
6'4". I'm 5'7".
I don't know what you're into, man. Back to the tier list on that
Okay.
note. So look, I'm not like super immersed in her content. I've come across a few videos, but she's not someone that I'm going to be watching every day. So for me, I'm kind of in the middle
would
ground.
watch. She's definitely in wood watch. She's very good. She's borderline class though. Because she is a very classy individual. Her content's very, very good.
I say, you know what though?
I feel like she has to go in wood watch just because you don't watch her.
Exactly. Because I would normally put her on the edge of meh and wood watch.
No, she's definitely not meh.
Well,
she's fantastic.
So on that disagreement, we got to be straight in the middle of wood watch.
Wood watch, 100%.
All the way. Yeah, all the way. Okay, Chris. So next up on the Watchfinder list is Swiss Watch Gang. So they're a channel that I'm actually subscribed to. I've seen a few videos, but they're not anyone that I've immersed myself into enough to really make comment on. I don't know about you.
Neither have I, honestly. I started watching one of the videos like prior to us sitting down and filming this.
Yeah.
The content did seem very interesting.
Yeah.
It seemed very like Hodinkee-esque to me.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, they clearly have a nice budget and a nice set. Are they watch dealers?
I believe that they are, yeah. I think that they are. I think that the one of them is like a big watch dealer, but again, I'm not immersed enough to critique them.
Are they brothers or twins or something? What's happening?
I don't think so.
Am I crazy? Or they look very similar.
I don't find that they look that similar.
They don't.
So I'll just call you. Me? I'll call you crazy and bald.
All right.
So let's. I think we have to put these into the homework / we're gonna think about them later category, which is. We just don't have enough to comment.
If we haven't seen them, what are we doing? We're just going to place them at the bottom and they're like kind of on the bench?
I'd say that
and then we're going to have to watch it and like redo this later on.
Okay, that's fair. That's exactly what we got to do. Fair. Next up on the list, TGV.
The Urban Gentry.
Yeah.
Love this guy.
Classic.
So good.
Totally classic.
So good. I like the talking T-Rex.
Yeah, very cool. Very interesting content. I mean, he's kind of fallen off, I feel like, in viewership lately, and it's a shame because he was always a really interesting character.
He's been posting a little less. I did notice that.
Okay. Yeah.
He is definitely publishing a little less, but he's so good.
He's great.
He's really great. And I like the diversity of his content. I like how deep he goes into it. He really like goes into like precise details.
And look, you're not watching him for the high level cinematography. You're not watching him for the high budget kind of stuff, but you're watching him because he has an interesting take on things and he's a charismatic guy.
Exactly.
He's a fun and charismatic
I watch him for, you know, again, the knowledge, the charming voice, the quirky take, the nerdiness. Yeah. He's just great.
He is great. And
he's really, really great.
It's super nostalgia based for me, but I think we got to put him
I have the memory of a goldfish. What's his name again?
TGV.
Yeah, thank you. Stands for what?
That's a great question. It's a very long English gentlemanly name, which is, I know it's Joffrey or Jeffrey.
No, don't do that. He deserves better than that.
He does deserve better than that. I agree.
Hold on, I have it written down. His name is Tristan Jeffrey Veneto. Jeffrey with a G.
Awesome name.
Because he's a gangster.
Great name. G is for gangster. I think that we got to put him up there.
Class, for sure.
Yeah. I'm in total agreement with you on that one. Definitely. Next up, if we go back to the list. All right, Britt Pierce. I feel like Britt Pierce is kind of a newcomer, right? I mean,
she is a newcomer.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I stumbled on her first video like what feels like really not long time ago, but
yeah, same here. It's like a year ago, I think.
I want to say that, but my perception of time is horrible.
Yeah,
so I'm
a year
going to
ago
change
was like
that
COVID,
one. Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So I'm going to change the 1 year to like 3 years. But she's been around really not too long.
Right.
And she just exploded. She came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like really funny girl. Started like making fun of herself at first, being that she was like calling herself like a ripoff of Jenni Elle or whatever. Like I remember her saying something like that. But no, super funny girl. Great content.
Easy to watch.
Posting all the time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, look, I mean, that's a pretty good summary enough. I'd say we'd put her, what do you think? I think would watch or maybe right on the border of class.
She's
interesting.
She's definitely would watch because I watch her all the time.
Yeah.
I'm debating if I would move her up into class actually.
When was the last time you watched one of her videos? For me, it would have been a short probably that I got on
It was a
YouTube
short?
Shorts, yeah. So I'd probably put her would watch because it's not someone's content that I'm actively going out to watch necessarily.
That's fair. We both have to mutually agree to move someone to class. So would watch.
Okay. We'll leave her there then. All right. So next up on the list, I see we have another female content creator. Always great to see in a space like watches. I don't know Elizabeth Grant at all though.
Neither do I.
Not even a little, unfortunately.
Well, it says relative newcomer, but no. I'm unfamiliar with her.
Does not focus exclusively on watches, mixing up her insightful. If we scroll down a little bit, guys, I'm trying to just read what Watchfinder actually wrote. And so across the what does it say? Across the boots? Insightful commentary across boots as well.
What?
Am I like shoes? Oh, okay, but specific, not shoes.
That's the
Specifically
thing. We could do
boots.
that.
We could do a channel on boots next.
No, I was gonna say, can we talk about other things besides watches? I'd love to talk cars.
Oh, please. Please, no. Handbags? Okay, we can get into handbags.
I don't know about handbags.
Yeah. Well, okay, we'll move her down into the homework category. I've not seen a lick of her content, and so we'll
give her a
chance. Refresh that. Yeah.
Okay.
ABlogToWatch. Okay, so this is a guy that I've been subscribed to for a while. Listen, pretty insightful stuff, knowledgeable
His face
content.
looks familiar to me, but no.
It's probable that you came up when researching, let's say, a specific watch or a specific history or something like that. You might have come across ABlogToWatch. I mean, it's in the name. It's basically a blog in general. I mean, but honestly, really good content. If you've not seen it, we might have to just mutually shove it into the homework category, though.
It depends how familiar you are with them.
I'm familiar enough to say that I've definitely immersed myself into his content in the past, probably about 3-4 years ago, that I would probably put him in the wood watch category. It's someone whose videos I stumble on from time to time, but it's not someone I'm actively looking for, so we got to put him there.
Okay.
Next up, I can already tell I see a movement being serviced. Okay, Nekkid Watchmaker, a naked watchmaker. I can see from the look on your face that maybe you're not super duper familiar.
I'm actually just trying to work out if the Nekkid is reference to the fact that he's not wearing clothes or that's his name.
I think it's more so that he's working on movements, which is like a naked version of a watch.
But then why misspell it?
Well, because he's like Irish or English, which is, naked. You don't say naked, you say naked. You know how there are different accents in the world, where depending on where you grew up? Yeah, so that's probably...
Naked. Like that?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
First clowning on Teddy, now making these accents.
Oh, man.
Really cool content, really insightful. Tends to work on some less premium movements, but that's totally fine. Very, very...
Actually, really kind of like that.
Yeah, because he'll toy around with them, explaining components, explaining what he likes, what he doesn't like, on things that you find on more, let's say, widely known or widely purchased watches, specifically their movements.
So I have a question. If I would watch his content, would I be able to service one of my Seikos that you gave me shit for not servicing?
You know what? You're a car guy.
I bought on Amazon once, like a $25 watch kit. I wouldn't trust it to open up a watch, but I mean, theoretically, that's what it's for.
So theoretically, if you were watching a mechanic's videos on YouTube, would you trust yourself to work on, I don't know, like a Toyota shitbox?
Yes, 100%.
Well, in that case, then yeah, if you think that you've got the skills for it.
Me and my buddy Jeff have done all kinds of repairs to my Cayenne.
I just came up with a video idea.
Watching YouTube videos and then just doing it.
I say this is our next video, is that we get you to do that, and I judge your work based on the accuracy and amount of scratches all over a movement that's been completely ruined.
You want to try to service my own watch?
I'd love to see that happen. Based on the confidence.
I don't know if I even have watch oil. I have olive oil. Does that work?
Please use olive oil. Please use olive oil.
What's the difference? Fucking oil is oil.
I beg you, because everyone right now is crying. Did you just ask what's the difference?
No, I'm being fucking stupid, but just saying
I'm putting him on Woodwatch. Again, I think this is going to be a popular category. But you don't have any say, Mr. Olive Oil. Let's go next. Okay. So next up on Watchfinder's list after Nekkid Watchmaker, Red Dead Restoration. Okay. So this is a channel I've seen clips of, not immersed enough to know about. I feel kind of stupid. I don't know many of these 25.
No, the only watch repair guy I watch actually is on Instagram. I think it's called Watch Spa or something. Yeah. He's crazy good.
Great. There's also that Japanese guy who's just peaceful and zen.
Oh, sorry. That's who I'm thinking of.
Oh, it is? Okay. Well, it might be the same. Is that
not Watch Spa?
It might be the same. There's another feller as well, I think, out of Singapore. They have a nice office, and he gets asked questions a lot as well.
No, this guy never talks. I'm thinking about the...
So I think we're thinking about the same one. Yeah. And it's almost like watching sushi masters in Japan. It's so neat and orderly, and everything is perfect, and everything is set.
And it's very captivating.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm with you there. But... Red Dead Restoration, we're definitely going to have to check out.
Homework category.
Thank you, Watchfinder, for all the homework that we're getting this episode.
As if I don't consume enough YouTube already.
Right. Okay, Wristwatch Revival. Again, looks like a servicer. Not a channel I'm familiar with.
Neither am I.
Okay, Paul Thorpe. Finally, we arrive at somewhere.
Finally, we arrive at someone I'm familiar with. Yeah.
You don't know Paul Thorpe?
What? No. What?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Paul Thorpe is a watch dealer. He's based out of London, I believe. He's been in the game a long time, in the watch selling game for a long time. And, he basically is in big dealer circles and, he transacts a lot of watches.
Okay.
He's a little bit more brash than others. He speaks his mind for sure, but he is like kind of a classic watch dealer that I'm used to dealing with in the day-to-day, which does not come off.
He looks like a brash guy.
Right.
He looks like he would just be like, fuck it, and say it how it is.
Yeah, basically say fuck it and, say what he wants. But I know that he's not been without scandal. I think that's the one thing about him is that there were some...
What kind of scandal are we talking about?
So I'm pretty sure that he was accused of selling like en masse on his website, like fake Ray-Bans or something like that. I don't know the validity to those claims, but the court of public opinion is easy to sway, right? So just the fact that it was...
I haven't seen a pair of fake Ray-Bans since like the last all-inclusive I've been to. The guys are walking around like selling them on the beach.
Yeah. All right. On that note, let's get back to Paul Thorpe. So look, I like the guy. I honestly haven't seen that since the scandal. I guess a lot of the wave of traffic has moved away from him based on the fact that I don't really know to the full extent about the scandal, and there are better creators in the business world.
Are we getting our first meh?
I'm giving him a meh. I'm giving him a meh for sure.
I don't get a vote. I don't know who he is.
Yeah, I honestly, like, I could almost put him in the middle ground. I haven't seen his content since that scandal broke like a year or two ago.
Right.
And I know that many people haven't as well. But just based on who I see next, I got to put him. Yeah,
well, listen, for what it's worth, if you send us real Ray-Bans, we'll move you up.
Next up, Roman Sharf.
Finally, somebody I know.
There we go. I'll
Roman.
let you lead us off then.
I really like Roman. He's good. He's very knowledgeable.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, I'm speaking a little bit biased here. I mean, he's kind of like the king of the gray market, basically, of the secondary watch industry.
So he's who you wish you could be.
He's who...
is he your idol?
He's the one who actually, basically, he kind of like his channel, seeing how his business operates, gave me that push to understand that watch dealing could be a full-time business.
Interesting.
It's totally his responsibility. He's been making content and it started pretty low budget for a good like 7-8 years, maybe even at most.
I feel like he's been around for a while.
And that's when I started watching him. Back when I was trading like Seikos and cheap watches and eventually moving up and just rolling up the ladder until getting into Rolex and more expensive watches in general. It was sort of him talking about the business that told me, oh, this could be a legitimate industry. Which
he made it viable for you.
He made it very viable. Totally knowledgeable, ins and out of the industry. When I was talking about Paul Thorpe before, they are friends in real life as well. But in terms of a channel, if you want to see how the watch business operates, this is the channel. And a lot of his old content, specifically his watches and whiskeys, a lot of people found it a little long, kind of just sit down like good hour or two with him and Adrien, his basically, I guess, partner at this point, but like head of sales type character / partner, I guess. Also,
but I'm totally familiar with the business side of his his business. Like, is he just gray market? He's not an AD.
He's not an AD. So he owns Luxury Bazaar, right? With some partners.
Right.
And they're one of the biggest gray market dealers in the world, and the pieces that they sell, there are a lot of...
Do you know where they're based out of?
Philadelphia.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, again, idol of mine, very cool guy, content's awesome. Business side of the content is
That's pretty
great.
cool though, eh? Because like, dude, you're a young cat. Like, you've been watching him since you were a teenager.
Oh yeah, big time.
So like, he's really like molded and shaped your impression of this.
For me, which is why I would put him all the way at the top. But if not, I gotta...
You're going to move him to God tier?
I would put him at God tier just based, but I know it's my personal bias. Okay, in reality, I definitely put him at class. I think
he's class at the very least.
Yes,
but I think because of how heavily he influenced you, and now that I reflect on that, and that this wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for him,
exactly,
he has to go to God tier.
Awesome, we get our first God tier. Love to see it, Roman. Love you. If ever somehow down the grapevine you see this,
he's basically calling
you're an inspiration, man.
He's basically saying that you're his daddy.
Yes, but also no. Pay no attention to Mr. Olive Oil. Let's get on with the list, okay? Okay, Time Teller.
So sorry, I don't know.
Don't know him.
Yeah, no, I'm really doing a bad job this episode. I am a useless co-host.
So, look, Time Teller is a guy who I watched getting up in the industry as well. I just found him really entertaining. And keep in mind, like the watch content space was really a desert, 5, 6, 7 years ago. When I started watching some of these guys, I honestly, like, even with the Urban Gentry, like I was watching his content so long ago that I just haven't refreshed on the new content because he kind of, in a way, stayed where he was, didn't evolve as much. Time Teller's kind of like that, but he also had some kind of like personal tragedies which happened. He's shifted focus on his channel, and since then, unfortunately, it's kind of dropped off. But he had some million view videos, quite a few, in fact.
Good for him.
He did a lot of budget-friendly stuff, a lot of practical watch reviews. Really charismatic guy. Honestly, he's the kind of guy that I would want to sit down with, have a drink or two with, and just shoot the shit, talk watches with. And for that reason, I'd totally put him up there to would watch. I couldn't put him at class. I don't feel comfortable putting him at meh with everything in his personal life that kind of went down and everything. But again, it's a guy that I watch getting up with, so that's where I got to place him.
That's fair.
And I'm hoping that we know the next guys who look like Theo and Harris.
Theo and Harris, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe you could shoot us off with Theo and Harris.
So I like Theo and Harris. I liked them especially that they did a video on the Javril, and that's what got me to buy it. Actually, my Tribeca.
There we go.
Yeah.
Immediate God tier.
Class. Immediate class. Yeah.
Immediate class.
For me, God tier is reserved for you've truly inspired us.
Yeah. So what about the...
Or that we're just consuming their content nonstop. And I can't say that about them. I consume their content all the time, but not heavily enough, I think, to put them in God tier. I don't know about you.
What would you say their take on the Javril was, or their explanation was, that really led you to buy it? I guess that's kind of the important...
Well, firstly, there's not many people that are talking about that Javril, right? Like it's rare enough that not too many people are talking about it.
Right.
I think they were covering it because they had one for sale, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they were talking about basically just how interesting of a watch it is, and that it's a lot more than just an homage watch.
Yeah.
Right? Because I mean, that watch was built prior to any form of hype forming around the Paul Newman.
Right.
Or even that generation of Daytona.
Right.
Right. So they were just going into detail about how it is actually half decent movement, Swiss made, that it really is like as good as it could get for, again,
a non-Rolex.
A non-Rolex.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So just like going into detail about that, and they basically were giving it a seal of approval. So it's that seal that made me feel more confident about buying it, because I've never bought a replica watch or a homage watch. Right. Right. But I've been obsessed with the Paul Newman Daytona. So was so many other people. But, like for me, I was at the point where I was drying the fucking thing, like I really, really loved it.
Yeah.
So they made it accessible to me. They made a dream accessible, because when I wear that Javril, I feel just as special as someone who would own a Paul Newman.
I literally can't say anything. I mean, that's the most heartfelt sort of beautiful thing I've heard you say this episode. So awesome. Yeah, I agree. Class. Yeah. I love them. I love their setup. I love their cadence. Just everything, man. I mean, I think even, Watchfinder here says like pity humor and smooth jazz, which is a pretty interesting way to...
That's actually a pretty good way to describe them, actually. I like that a lot.
2-word kind of characterization. Yeah. Well, anyway, look. Next on the list, Justin Hast. Don't know him, unfortunately. I don't know about you.
Neither do I.
So unfortunately, Justin, we got to move you to homework. And we've got our work cut out for us.
So sorry, Mr. Hast.
All right. Next up on the list, Time and Tide. All right. These guys are a great resource.
Yeah,
just in general. Great resource. Their content's pretty good. It's not super entertaining, but just, their online content, their website through that is, the stuff that they produce there is just so good.
Yeah, I agree. Which they're more on the knowledgeable side, less on the entertainment side.
Definitely. And look, that's not to say they don't have a great setup. They have great resources behind them and everything like that. But for me, if you're watching a full length clip, you kind of need to have some sort of something going on right behind it. It can't just be, hey, here's a beautiful setup and two idiots talking. Watch, you know.
Striking a chord there, bro.
Uh-oh.
Too close to home.
Making us reconsider this whole thing. No, but you know, on that note, I'd probably put them on Woodwatch. I think Time and Tide deserves to be there.
For sure.
Again, their online stuff, their blogs, their website, that stuff is a valuable resource. And you know, for that, I'm seeing that Nekkid Watchmaker's up at Woodwatch. Oh yeah, okay, I put them there. That's right. Definitely. I forgot. I just remember that you didn't know.
Slow down on the scotch.
Yeah, seriously. Okay, so next up on Watchfinder's list, Federico talks watches.
Federico's good. Yeah. I used to consume him a lot.
Nonstop for me.
Yeah, nonstop. And that says a lot to his character and his knowledge, because he doesn't bother with any
production value.
Nothing.
There is zip.
Nothing. I can't remember a video where it was like actually like had footage of it. Yeah. It's like he'll just pop up an image of it,
or he'll have it and he'll just go, here we go.
Yeah, he's in his office. So if you're watching Federico, you're watching it for him.
Right? For him. And honestly, such a knowledgeable guy.
Yeah.
Sitting in front of a camera, rattling things off, like unscripted.
No, for sure. I don't know how he fits it all in his brain, honestly.
I don't.
I really don't know how he does it.
I really don't.
But he's the kind of guy that I wish I could buy a watch from.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He's the kind of guy that I would want to buy a watch from.
And you could. I mean, he's based out of Miami, I think. So if you wanted to make the trek, of course, you could.
I feel like that should be a bucket list thing, actually.
Is like we try to buy a watch off of everyone on this tier list?
Yeah.
That would be a very expensive video.
Very expensive, but man, would it be cool.
It would be very cool. So look, Federico, I think I got to put him, what do you think?
At the very minimum, Woodwatch, minimum. But because we both watch him so much.
I think we put him in between Class and Woodwatch.
We don't have it in between. That has to go, it's either you move him up, you has to go to Class. What am I thinking? He has to.
Is it, or can we put it in between, guys?
No, there's no in between.
You don't think so?
Well, he deserves it, man. He deserves it. Like, we both consume him a lot.
Okay. You know what?
And he's putting like no production value, and we're consuming him. So it's like, that says a lot.
It does.
That says a lot.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? I'm fine with that. We'll throw him in Class. Federico.
Yeah. Federico goes in Class.
Is a goat.
Yeah.
Yeah. A goat, not the goat, but a goat.
He's a goat.
Which is a bit of a silly thing to say, but
when you say a goat instead of the goat, it sounds way more demeaning than the goat.
You're very right.
Right?
I'm trying to say it as like a greatest of all time, rather than...
If you call somebody the goat, it's like, oh, thank you. But if you say you're a goat, it loses all meaning.
That's a good point. I'll change that framing, I guess. But Ben's Watch Club, super entertaining. Now,
like, why couldn't he be my co-host? And then we could just be fucking balled together.
You both get flamed, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
It would be way too much. It would be
like,
overload.
I don't like that there's like a handsome co-host, handsome young guy, fucking bald dumbass putting olive oil on watches getting flamed in the comments.
Well, you know what, buddy? My dad is bald. He's trying. He's got a good old comb over happening.
So in a
give it 10 years.
If we're doing this, crowning, you're going to be right beside me.
I will be right beside you, and you'll be putting olive oil on your watches. I'll show you the ways
of shaving your head and,
very good.
And growing a beard.
And still looking that good, by the way.
Thank you.
Look at that. The compliments are flying.
But no, sorry, I don't know Ben's Watch Club.
Okay, so I know Ben's Watch Club. I don't consume his content regularly, but basically he had a few videos which took off in a major way and were so entertaining that I really want to throw him right away in Woodwatch.
Why did they take off, Julien? I'll take notes so that we could take off.
I'll tell you. He basically took on the whole low-end Instagram marketed watch brands, which kind of market themselves as like super cool, hip, great watches.
Oh, yeah.
Mainly,
those stupid shitty brands there.
Yes,
with
Filippo Loretti and like that kind of level of watches, which are all just Chinese, basically AliExpress parts.
They're just really good at marketing it though, right?
Yes, exactly. But like he'd go over the stories and how the founders are like, this is a total passion project.
It's like,
I own a Rolex and I thought I got
cheap fashion for watches. That's exactly what it is.
And this tells you how much I loved this chain of videos that he did, is that I remember one of these brands, maybe Filippo Loretti, was like, the owner was talking about how he owns a Rolex and he's like, I could do this for 100th the price. And, basically it just pans right over to him and he's like, you fucking didn't, basically, right? And basically in one of the videos, just to sum it up really quickly, and it's very much worth a watch, he takes He goes on like AliExpress, Temu, all these different things, and he assembles the parts of what would be a Filippo Loretti. So he finds the manufacturers of the company, and he assembles a watch which looks almost identical to one he buys off of the Filippo Loretti.
How much did it cost him?
It cost him like $20, and
wow,
on the website of Filippo Loretti, it was like 400 or 300
and that's
bucks.
not like commercialized. That's just like buying off the shelf.
And he called it like Scametti Spaghetti or something like that.
I love that.
And branded the dial and everything, right? And it was awesome. So for Ben's Watch Club, I'm just gonna throw him in Woodwatch. That's like the content I've seen of him. I've tried other stuff. I didn't really like connect with it as much, but he's such a good creator. I think that he could easily, with his production style, his personality, he could get to a point where I'd be watching every video for sure.
Okay, I'm excited to check him out.
Just one more watch. I've seen at times when I was specifically for my own collection, if I'm buying like a lower end watch, something that's affordable, I stumble on a bunch of his videos where he does deep dives into affordable watches, deep reviews of these watches.
I like that.
You know, and I'm talking anywhere from like, you know, a few $100, $100 Casio, and he's gonna do a 15-minute video on the watch, to like Federico and stuff like that. Like I've seen his videos based on those, some limited editions as well. Never any high-end stuff, but all the same, very knowledgeable in that space and very interesting opinions.
Speaking of, completely off topic for a second. Speaking of affordable watches, did you notice that the Urban Gentry did a review of the Frederic Constant that you talked about in our video of?
Oh, did he really?
You have watched under 1,000?
I actually didn't see that.
Dude, it released like, I want to say a week and a half after we filmed our video.
Yeah. No,
like as soon as I saw it, I thought of you right away, and I was like, okay, if there's ever a sign that Julien knows what the fuck he's talking about, is this right here.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you saying that. People in the comments in the last video didn't really think so. They thought it was a bit generic and bland, but oh well.
Which is so beautiful. Anyways, we're getting sidetracked.
Very good. Well, okay, just one more watch. I'm going to put into the wood watch category. I think you should watch him.
I will.
Specifically, if you're thinking about buying anything in the lower tier range, you know, I think I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on this, he does a lot of reviews on Zelos and these kinds of brands.
But see, I love that though.
Exactly.
That's brilliant. Yeah.
Exactly. So definitely a wood watch player. Next up, I think, is going to be some people that we don't know. So we could probably just speed through. Yeah. Mad Watch Collector, I've seen, don't know enough about. Right out the gate, got to throw him into the homework.
Sorry, Bo, you're getting benched.
All right. Watch Art Sci, again, unfamiliar myself.
No.
Watch Crunch, again,
another
not super
one, man.
familiar. I feel really bad because this list, it seems like there was a lot of time spent into it. Here we are again. SoCal watch reviews.
My God.
Yeah.
We're going to have more people that we haven't seen than people that we've freaking ranked.
I think it's going to be close.
It's going to be close. We're going to have a part 2, bro.
We're going to have a part 2, I think. That's going to be down the way. Or at least maybe we cover the ones that we didn't. Watches with Abdullah? I don't know, unfortunately, at all. Click Spring. Yeah, again, unfamiliar, unfortunately. All right. Nico.
He's my favorite, dude. He's my favorite content creator.
Yeah.
Period. Like not like favorite watch reviewer. Favorite YouTuber
across the board.
Period.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
Like I every video he releases, I watch it. I love every single one. He's the man, dude. He's so good.
It's one of those kind of things where he's not like super high production quality by any means. Like he's got a nice studio setup, but it's just his face. He's got a laptop. He's talking about watches, but there's something so entertaining about it.
I think I can summarize it. Okay. He's the best of all worlds. The guy's a walking encyclopedia. Yeah. But he's fucking funny.
Very funny.
He's so funny. He's naturally funny. You know who he reminds me of? He's like a Bert Kreischer.
Right.
Right? The Machine. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like he's one of those characters.
Yeah.
You know, like I have a friend like this. It's like
boisterous and just
win over the room. You know, like
immediately
making everybody laugh. Like just fucking naturally funny, witty guy. And then you pair that with all of the knowledge in his mind, and then it's like unstoppable.
Yeah,
right?
the knowledge and the way that he critiques watches is very unique, obviously. Yeah. I mean, he's done so much for the industry as a whole 100%. In the content space.
And I'll go as far as saying that he owes, at least in part, his success to the team behind him. Yeah, right?
Definitely.
His team is really solid.
Really good.
They're feeding him like the right clips to review, the right format for his videos. Like, and that pairing, again, the way that he's well-rounded with a good team.
Yeah.
And I mean, having a successful, solid business behind him too doesn't hurt, obviously.
Of course.
And it just
being said in Ireland, you're going to have some witty Irish banter going on too, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And then obviously what also adds to the fact of him being kind of so funny is that he does have a very strange accent, which is he's Dutch, but lives in Ireland and has lived there long enough that he's got like sort of this weird blend of an accent. Right. And that for me, I mean, look, we could say even more. Everyone already knows. Anyone who's watching this has seen
he's not
videos.
a goat. He's the goat.
He is the goat.
He's the goat.
He is the goat. And for sure, it's obviously his tier list, so we have to put him on God tier as well. We did rob him for this video, so you know, it'd be kind of a shame. Yeah, that's him right there. Right up there, right next to Roman. And they are friends, and they do make videos together at times, so perfect space for them.
Yeah, I like it.
So next up on the Watchfinder list, to close out the list, it was the number 2 on the Watchfinder list. Your good friend.
Well, let me take out my sad face again.
All right, that's enough of that face.
Shut up.
I think we got enough of that out of the intro. Teddy Baldassarre.
Dude, I like Teddy.
I know you do, and that's why
I really like Teddy.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't mean to get carried away. Like, I wasn't even actually intending to insult the guy. That was not the intention. The intention for me was really just to kind of call out that I expected more. That's what made me so upset, is that I wanted more from Teddy because I hold him in such high regard and I respect him so much that when I clicked on his website to see the watches that he was suggesting under 1,000, again, because I expected more from him, it made me that much more disappointed, right? If I cared less about Teddy and I would have stumbled on that list, I'd be like, whatever. But I really was hoping to see something very promising put forward, right? And again, I have no issue with him being a businessman and selling watches. I just had an issue with the way that that list was populated, because it was populated so carelessly that, like we found, there was an actual watch part on it. So if there's a watch part on it, basically what you're doing is you're filtering in every single product in your catalog under $1,000 and you're shoving it onto this page.
Under the banner
now,
of
this is
watches under 1,000.
Absolutely. Now, this is not specifically a Teddy mistake. He probably has an employee that manages this, right? I was just trying to say that it would have been very nice if someone who I respect as much as Teddy would have compiled something that would have been extremely knowledgeable. And then it would have made me and everyone else, I feel like I shouldn't speak for everybody else because everybody just fucking hated me for this, but for me, it would have made me feel that much more confident about buying a watch under 1,000 by him, right?
And look, I think it's important to note too that in your search for making your basically your compilation of the 3 watches for that last video, you just went on Google and searched best watches under 1,000.
I did what people are going to do.
Exactly.
Right? Like, that's a normal thing to do.
That's the first result through SEO that you get. Look, that's a big business decision that he would have made. And I almost want to test it and search like best watch under 10,000, so on and so forth, and see like how far you could get through his website in terms of best watches under this. You'd probably have the same exact effect.
Probably, but I feel like, to minimize my reaction to that, what would have been nice would have been like if he would have had his like top 10 in kind of like a blog format where he can elaborate why they're on that top 10 and then just populate with all the rest. Why not? So you're giving me something to scroll through, whatever.
But on the content side, his content's incredible. His
course.
knowledge
is
up there. Okay. Like he, for me, is the second most knowledgeable guy, but the first most knowledgeable guy when it comes to watches sub 10,000 or around the $10,000 mark. Teddy is the GOAT for that stuff. I mean, it helps that he's an AD, but I mean, look, when he made the first, let's say, Kevin O'Leary walking around the ADs and like dream collection kind of things, his knowledge, like, it's shown right through. That wasn't his spot. That was pre him being an AD, pre him sort of repping those watches.
No, for sure. Listen, the passion is there.
The
knowledge is there. The
cinematography, the setup, everything is there for Teddy Baldassarre to be one of the GOATs.
Absolutely.
So for me, he's the class. And I think you'd be exactly the same. He's definitely class.
He's class at the very least.
Yeah.
I would have put him in God tier if he would have done what I would have said.
There we go.
Like if you would have if that passion would have translated to care for the audience a tiny bit more, he'd be in God tier.
Yeah. So look, that's the list done basically. And here's the one thing though. Watchfinder Co. made the list and was humble enough. They did not put themselves on the list. So I think we should talk about them.
Put them up there, man. Class for sure.
Class right away.
For sure.
Watchfinder
right
Co.
away.
The WF and Co. The blue, yeah, that one right there, right out the gate. Now we can talk about it a little bit. In terms of cinematography, in terms of styling, in terms of production quality, nobody even close.
Unparalleled.
Nobody even close.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So I can't remember his name now, but the original Watchfinder dude.
Yeah.
Right? The guy that does the, because he moved channels now, didn't he?
Did he actually?
Yeah, he did.
What?
The original like Watchfinder voice guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Where we never saw his face.
Yeah.
He has his own channel
I know he has his own channel, yes.
Yes.
But I didn't think that he separated from Watchfinder.
He didn't?
I don't think so.
He stopped doing their videos.
Oh, did he all together?
Yeah.
Well, it goes to show, like, I watch.
Yeah, no.
their content.
He's not associated. I think he's not associated to Watchfinder anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which caused me to stop watching Watchfinder.
Maybe that's why I haven't seen their videos in like a good.
Well, I mean, they got a new host,
right?
But it's just not the same.
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
Yeah. So okay.
It's
So I guess
me that I can't remember his name though.
Andrew Morgan.
Andrew Morgan.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
After 13 years.
So he was
why
there
he left. But yeah, dude, Andrew Morgan,
I'm willing to bet it's contract disputes.
He was Watchfinder.
Oh yeah, because that's as soon as you say Watchfinder, that's who I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of those videos. Do you know what video comes to mind immediately? Is
what?
Him like comparing Daytona, Speedmaster.
Dude, I've watched all of those.
Man,
all
unbelievable.
All of those videos I've watched, man.
He like his setup, his cadence, his voice. I mean, everything about those videos is chef's kiss, perfect.
Yeah.
Why the Panda
Dude,
Daytona
it's like borderline
is so good.
ASMR, like.
Oh, it is. It literally is. I've fallen asleep, listening to some of these content. Right?
It's a fucking nerdy thing to do, bro.
Well, yeah.
No, maybe. But I get it. It's really good. It's really, really good.
It's unbelievable. And okay, so look, in all fairness, we're ranking class. I'm going to rank it for Andrew Morgan.
Yes.
Specifically.
Yes.
But we'll keep it up there.
It's there.
Also, the list was compiled by them, so a little props.
But we should find his new channel because his new channel should go up there too. And it's kind of cool that you see his face now because it became kind of like the snake pulling the helmet off.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But anyways.
It became the snake pulling the helmet off?
The Stig.
Oh, the Stig.
Top Gear. The Stig.
Oh, no.
You know what the fuck I'm talking about. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, let's skip it over.
Hodinkee.
Hodinkee. Great.
Hey?
Man, how can you not put Hodinkee in class?
You have to, kind of.
You have to. They have the highest viewed watch video by any channel on YouTube in watch count.
The John Mayer one?
Of course.
Yeah.
That video literally created the names for a set of precious metal Daytonas from a video done by this company.
It's true, eh?
It's now known that John Mayer Daytona.
It all took off from that video. Fuck, you're right.
Even nowadays, I see people calling the white gold blue dial racing Daytona the John Mayer as well.
Right.
Which I only see, I've seen that only recently now that they call it that. It used to be the blue racing dial. Originally, it was just the green, yellow, gold dial, which was the John Mayer. But now I see people calling the white gold blue the John Mayer dial as well. Because
I thought it was. I thought it was both of those.
But
because in the video, he took out both of those.
When you're selling watches online, if you search like John Mayer, you're not going to really come up with gold. White. Yeah. So in my world, I always came up with the yellow gold.
Okay.
But it speaks to it that two different models, among other models of like gem set Daytona, stuff that he talked about, vintage as well, he gave a huge boost to over the pandemic just by talking about it.
Pretty cool to get a watch named after you, right?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And there's another channel here that kind of touches on that later, and we'll get there. But Hodinkee, class.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Definitely class.
I had to jump in and just get there because they've done so much.
No, they have.
From their online stuff, their articles, their blogs, their general sales platform is great too.
Can I go off track for a quick second?
Go ahead.
What do you think of Hodinkee collaborations?
Some of them are very interesting.
Definitely interesting.
I've had a Grand Seiko Hodinkee collab actually.
Yeah. Like I'm asking if you would buy one.
I had a Grand Seiko Hodinkee.
Oh, like you personally had one?
Yes, a Grand Seiko. I sold everything I have goes eventually. It's just the nature of this game. But I had a Grand Seiko Hodinkee collab for a good little time, like maybe 5-6 months. I wore that watch.
Okay.
It was a very, very cool watch. Matte dial. I mean, kind of like different for. It's interesting to see like a Western influence on a Japanese watch. The way that they would kind of add their input, which was, Grand Seiko, you think about these bright, colorful, beautiful dials, something unique pattern-wise as well, some crazy finish techniques. But they did like
you picked up a Grand Seiko Hodinkee. Like I picked up the Timex Hodinkee. But that was like under $200, right? And it was really cool. Like I had like this pan pie like dial. It's kind of like stepped. And what is it called when it has like the crosshair thing, the quadrant sort of?
Sector dial?
Is that what it is?
Yeah, sector dial.
Sector dial where it has like a cross across.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was that. Super nice.
Well, class. I think, okay, next up, I think that looks maybe from my angle to be CRM Jewelers. Am I correct there?
Yeah.
CRM Jewelers. All right. Very flashy Miami style content for sure. It's pretty like knowledge based. Definitely not the channel for you. It's
They're
not the
knowledgeable,
spot. Well,
but it's not really like the
not really,
knowledge based channel.
I wouldn't say that they're very knowledgeable. Like, okay, like on the comparison,
they're more knowledgeable than me.
Yes, but I'm not talking about. What I'm talking about is like if we're comparing to Teddy.
No.
You know.
Yeah.
Even Nico, Roman Sharf, Federico, these kinds of people. Pretty much everyone on the team.
Their content's not bad. So
here's
I
the
would
thing.
say just once in a while, it seems like their content is inspired by what they have in inventory.
Oh,
you ever get that
that's
impression?
Every single piece of their content. Yeah, without a doubt. Now look, it's entertainment.
Yeah.
But it's not something that as a watch collector, I would be just immersing myself in necessarily. It kind of walks the line of being like reality TV and sort of whatever.
I could see that.
And I just don't get much value out of their videos. I love to watch them though. And so it's kind of funny. Like I watch them, but they're not like I'm kind of in between meh and would watch.
Me too. I'm like kind of in between.
I think we got to shove them in meh, unfortunately.
You think?
I think so.
Okay.
I mean, well, unless you have a reason not to.
Like I said, they're right on the border of would watch and meh.
So,
you know, it's kind of
in
tough.
all fairness,
it's really
we would
tough.
put them on the border.
Like I feel bad. Like they are a little better than meh.
They are a little better than meh, but unfortunately there's no half measures. And I'd say that they lean maybe more towards the meh than like something that I'd say I would watch that. Like, you know, I'd watch a series by them or whatever.
Right.
It's
They're
cool
entertaining
content.
though. They're entertaining.
Hey, and
I like the father-son combo.
It's a very cool relationship. You get immersed into it, but not necessarily for like watch content. It's more personality.
It's almost more for them. Okay.
Really,
I hear
you know what I mean?
saying.
So it's just kind of like for me.
Okay.
I don't get as much value out of it.
No, I see what you're saying.
So
okay,
that's
fair.
Okay, watch Eric. So used to work for CRM actually. Yeah. Right? And they left on, I think, bad terms, if I'm not mistaken. But watch Eric right out the gate. I'd put him at Woodwatch myself. I don't know.
No. Whoa.
Oh.
Whoa.
Disagreement time.
Chill out there.
Okay.
Meh.
You're putting him at meh.
He's literally on the same level as CRM.
I'd say he's far more knowledgeable. Far more knowledgeable. I mean, he was their expert. He was their in-house expert. He was their watch expert.
I'm not saying that he's not more knowledgeable.
Yeah.
But I'm saying in terms of production quality.
Okay.
And in terms of entertainment.
Yeah.
If you balance all of that out, it's more or less equivalent to CRM.
So, but I wouldn't, because I find that...
Like, dude, we're still talking about a guy that wears sunglasses and reviews a watch indoors.
Yeah, well, not always. He does review them outdoors.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you're going to get penalized a little bit for that.
I get that.
A tiny bit.
I get that. But keep in mind, we did put Federico up at class.
Federico is class.
I know, but here's the thing, and I'm going to defend Watch Eric here.
No, whoa,
He's not class.
Stop moving that up.
He's definitely not class, okay? Let's slow down here, guys. I'm going to say he's Wood Watch. I'm going to stick to it, and here's my defense for him.
Okay.
Yes, it's not high production value, but the value that you gain in terms of understanding, in terms of insight into the industry is quite good with Watch Eric. Over the years, he's made some good calls in terms of investment strategy, in terms of would I rather this or that. He's made some great calls on that. He's kept people informed without imposing too much of his own inventory that he's just trying to throw off to people. And for that reason, that's why I'd put him at the Wood Watch category. He does produce interesting and watchable content that when he has a take, I'll listen to it.
I will give it to you because, in all fairness, I watch more of him than I do
than you would
CRM.
CRM. There we go.
Right,
so that's fair.
Fine.
All right. A newcomer, the king of TikTok, Moses Jewelry.
I don't know who that.
We're off to a great start.
Yeah.
Look, Moses is again one of those big kind of personalities, not knowledgeable by any means about watches.
It's just the kind of guy like walks with a stack of cash.
Yes. 47th Street dealer.
Yeah.
Already that kind of throws me off already immediately. That just makes me cringe and die inside a little bit, because I've had some of the worst experiences I've ever had in watch buying were 47th Street dealers, dial swaps, no track record, no just bad bookkeeping. Now that's not to say all of them are bad. There's obviously great people from there, but I've just had some really bad experiences there. And again, it's also, well, you know, it's the kind of conglomerate of like a lot of the major dealers in the world. I feel like
we should do a video on that one day.
It would be interesting.
Like how to like avoid buying a watch that had like a dial swap and stuff.
Yeah, honestly, it's a buy the seller type of thing, but with people that have like no real knowledge about watches and are selling as many and kind of doing that, it always makes me kind of, you know, tense up a little bit. Moses's content is entertaining. I don't learn anything from it. It's really geared towards short form content. I could never sit through a full length video of his. Right. I just couldn't do it. He did one goodish video with GQ, but you know, he came on as like a watch expert, and I just kind of rolled my eyes a little bit, and I was like, really, GQ? This is like, I get it. He's very famous on YouTube. He's very famous on Instagram Reels and so on, but calling him a watch expert is a little bit.
It's kind of like calling me an expert.
It's like having you on GQ as a watch expert, right? Yeah. It's like maybe a bit better, but he's only been doing this for like 2-3 years. Like his dad was in the jewelry business. He grew up in the jewelry business, but he geared towards watches in the last like 2 years, and just he did things differently on social media. So all this
to say he's a meh?
I'm giving him a meh.
All right, meh it up.
Yeah, for those reasons, I gotta throw a meh. Chrono 24, maybe you can lead us with this one.
I'm surprisingly into Chrono 24. I really like their content, actually. I kind of love that they can pull on data from their site, and I don't know the host name, but he's actually quite good as well.
You know what? I'm just going to agree with you flat out. I think that as a sales platform, they obviously have great access to inventory.
Absolutely.
Great
I wouldn't
backers.
go as far as saying it's class, but it's
Woodwatch.
100% a Woodwatch.
Okay, let's throw them there.
Yeah, definitely.
Fratello Watches, right out the gate, I'm going to just put Woodwatch.
Yeah.
Straight out the gate, it's a similar type of thing where knowledge, but you know, most of the sort of, I guess, viewership that I give to Fratello is like their articles online.
Okay.
It's not as much of their content. And, you know, just for that reason, like they don't have anything that's super entertaining and captivating. But in terms of a knowledge base, if you want to, you know, understand different reference points, you want to learn history on stuff, Fratello does a great job on that. So for me, Woodwatch.
I wouldn't have guessed though, with a name like Fratello.
You'd think, right?
Yeah.
Brother.
No, I know what it means, but I'm just saying, like,
you are Italian. I shouldn't.
Like, it gives it a more like casual vibe.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. What about Vookum?
Vookum. Another somewhat newcomer.
That's the guy that does the quick flips, right?
Quick flips.
Yeah, my buddy loves that channel.
Again, it's not something that you get much out of. I couldn't watch a full length YouTube.
Do you think they're staged, the deals?
Yeah, some of them definitely are.
Yeah,
without a doubt. Oh,
like they know he's coming before he shows up and negotiates and does his flip.
Of course, man. Yeah. But look, not all of them. Like there are certain scenarios that this could be possible.
Yeah.
But in some cases, okay, let's put it this way: like Moses and Vookum, well, maybe more Moses. They're like flipping coins for like a $10,000 spread, and it's like every second video they're doing a coin flip. In business, okay, if you were to risk your entire margin, maybe even at a loss on top of it, unless you're completely screwing over the customers you bought from. But if you're going to risk your entire margin, 50% on, let's say, 30% of the deals that you do, how would you stay in business?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make logical sense to do that many like coin flips and shit. It's very catchy, zingy, sort of punchy stuff. But in reality, a lot of the watch business it can be boring. Like it's not as exciting as that. Like that's
right.
It's a lot of...
he's giving it an exciting perspective.
Yes. And it's very interesting. Again,
what makes me nervous about his content is that I feel like he might fool some people to thinking that they can flip watches too.
I think anyone can.
Like I've had a friend show me this video. Like that's how I discovered it. Being like, yo, we should flip watches. Yeah. Right? And then he sent me a watch and I had to like look it up in 2 seconds on a corner and be like, yeah, dude, like there's no way that you can flip this thing.
That it's kind of what led to a lot of sneaker kids getting into the watch game and immediately getting blacklisted off of every forum and group because they don't understand that, you know, your word is your bond. There's certain things that you can and can't do. If you're caught selling a fake watch and your response is, oh, I didn't know, it's like, you got to do better than that. You refund the guy right away. There's traceability involved. Where the hell did you get it from? You're on the hunt now to help out. There's certain kind of rules in the game, and a lot of the New York guys in general, they don't follow these rules. They play a different kind of game, and it's not just to say it's just New York. Like, it happens everywhere, but these are the kind of guys that produce content that are not great long form.
The place that he does all those flips, what is that?
47th Street.
Yeah,
in New York. Yeah.
Would you ever buy a watch from there?
No, I have.
No, but
hundreds.
Sorry, let me rephrase.
Yeah.
Would you suggest someone in New York to
walk
if
the
I
street
was in
and
New
buy
York?
it?
Yeah,
Never.
exactly. Like, would you recommend I walk? No way.
Never.
No.
Never. Like, okay, I could name off 50 of my clients who have done that just because they were there.
Yeah.
And they come back and I'm like, this is polished. This is short 2 links. This is the
fuck.
And they're like, they didn't tell us. They just said, and then you might call them back and they'll be like, well, you bought the watch. You should know what you're buying.
Right.
And that's kind of the attitude of it. And
I
that
understand.
sums it up.
Yeah, so the onus is on the buyer, basically.
Of course.
So it's
you need to go someone like me.
Exactly.
And I actually break it down. And I'd
negotiate.
also negotiate the shit out of them.
Okay.
And it's almost like a bazaar. You think about walking through like a Moroccan bazaar and you're negotiating like that. That's what it is there. It really is like that.
That makes perfect sense.
But Vookum, let me just say this really quick about Vookum. The one thing that I have to admire and love is that basically the father of the videographer / editor / kind of main part of the channel as well is John Buckley. Have you ever heard of a Buckley dial?
A Buckley dial?
A Buckley dial.
No.
So in the vintage collector space, a Buckley dial is a Roman numeral style dial, white dial. Could have come in a different colors, but it's literally named after this guy because he was so prominent on Rolex forums and elsewhere that and he was such a fan of this dial because of how it was just, it was just something different and unique for Rolex. Hated at the time, lower production numbers. And
it's his son that's filming the videos?
It's his son that's filming it, and Tyler was his friend growing up. But he's a legend in terms of the New York space. John Buckley, Tuscany Rose is his store, and he funded the start of this. But Tyler is one of the guys that kind of really took it off. So look, not great long term, and that's why I just got to put them in meh. Yeah. But they do some great stuff, very entertaining stuff, but it's just not something I'm sitting down and like. If I'm immersing myself, I'm not going to sit down and watch.
Right.
Same thing as Moses.
Okay, fair enough.
1916 company.
Class, if not God tier.
Class right away. Yeah. You know what? I'd go God tier with them.
I would go God tier just because of, what's his name? Tim Mosso?
Yeah.
Tim Mosso is like a God tier dude.
Yes.
Like,
I would throw Tim Mosso separately from 1916. He was obviously with Watchbox before. Then they merged.
But when I think 1960, I'm thinking Tim Mosso. Like that's who I'm evaluating basically. Yeah. And he is a goat. He is one of the goats we have spoken about. So I think I would go God tier, man. You?
I'm going God tier as well. Just based on the back. Look, whenever I've sold an obscure reference complication, the first thing I do is I go on YouTube and I search how the hell does this work? Because sometimes if it's a Nekkid watch that I have maybe more in my early days and I just didn't know how it worked, I would search it and all of a sudden what would come up?
Yeah.
Tim Mosso, Watchbox reviews.
For sure.
Talking about that exact watch. And I'm like, dude, it's got like 1,000 views. How the hell does he have this watch? There's 300 that have been produced.
If I'm not mistaken, I feel like those early watch boxes were literally like a fucking piece of paper with the logo, like at the start of the video. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
and he's just holding the watch. It's shaking.
Yeah, no, but it was like zero fucking editing. It's just like literally a camera, a piece of paper with their logo and like started. But
he is a geek of all geeks. But people watched it
because it's him.
Of all geeks. Yes.
You know, right? Like,
and he is the knowledge king without a doubt across the board. Anything like above 10 grand.
Yeah.
High-end luxury watches, Swiss watches, even Japanese watches.
I agree. I think
German
he's
watches,
the most knowledgeable guy on the planet for watches.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I agree with that. And again, the content is simple.
Yeah.
But his reviews, specifically his unboxing and his reviews and everything, have been so practically useful to me.
Yeah.
God tier guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're kind of getting towards the end of the list here.
I think that's it. These are all the people that we haven't.
This is the last one, actually.
Oh, we have one last one?
We have the king, the once and future king of YouTube content. Do you know who that is by chance?
No, I don't. Who's that?
Timepiece Gentleman.
No.
You don't know Timepiece Gentleman?
No.
Buckle in. So
hold on. I have one last sip of scotch.
Yeah.
Let me just slowly sip on this while you tell me this entertaining story. Go.
I really needed to take a mouthful of water there because, this guy is probably the craziest thing to ever happen to the watch community as a whole. So, a little background.
Yeah.
This guy appears on, that guy who does the sort of like filming, hey, I love your car. What do you do for a living? That guy. So he appeared on one of his videos. He was driving like an Audi R8, like a new style or something like that. Some car. And he was in the car and he gets out. He's like, I'm a professional watch dealer. Here's my company on the side. And that video blew up along with the guy, because this was like 4 years ago, 5 years ago. This is like COVID kind of ish time. This is when the market was crazy. This is when everything was just going mad. And he gets blown up, Daniel Mack. So he gets blown up.
Sorry, who's Daniel Mack? The guy
that films the, hey, I love your car. What do you do for a living? So this guy's really famous now as well.
Yeah.
So he blows up. Now, because he had his company printed on the side of the car, smart business move, his company also gets a ton of traction.
Okay.
And he does a genius move where he feeds off that traction by making a video, giving Daniel Mack his first Rolex. And he gives him like a DHS or something.
That's a smart fucking move.
Genius move, right?
Yeah.
And from that point on, it was like to the moon. Like everyone's like, what's this guy going to do? He starts publishing content. And he starts, here I'm in my office. And he's kind of he was the first person to do like a sit down on the phone with a client. Here I am selling a watch.
He was the first one
to do that.
Huh.
And he started that whole thing. Okay. And it exploded, man. Like he got hundreds of thousands of views to millions of views. Then the channel was going up. He moves his office. He moves to like, I think Austin or something like that. Big office. Him and his partner. And all of a sudden it's like in the span of like 2-3 months, he's like doing vlogs. He's like flying private jets, delivering this RM, delivering like $3 million worth of watches, doing like these crazy high value stuff, eating out at like Nobu every night. And like I just spent $20,000 on dinner, and he was being super boisterous about it. Everyone's like, this guy's fucking loaded. He's a genius businessman. He's so good. And he's like blowing up. And then people start being like, how the hell is he doing any of this? Like, besides the fact that maybe he's faking it, or like people start like digging deep. And what they find, buckle in.
He was a watch dealer, no?
But he'd only been dealing watches for 2 or 3 years.
Right.
And he's like, I started with like $5,000 and now 2 years later I have $8 million in inventory or $10 million in inventory. And everyone's like, what?
Okay.
So already the guy, they start looking at his past. They see he's a felon. They see he's got a shady past. He's an ex like drug user and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, everyone can rehabilitate. They're not casting shade, but then people start digging and they're like, how the hell did he go from there to there? Like nobody does that. What do they find? They find out that he was a gay masseuse.
Shut the fuck up.
Who was going around because they find him on this website.
No, there's no fucking way.
I'm serious.
They
find him on this like basically prostitution website geared towards lonely men, wealthy lonely men who want an erotic gay massage from buffed up muscle guys.
Fuck off. There's no way that that's real.
I swear to God, it's 100% real. And all of this started the digging.
Julien, you can't fucking jerk your way to being a fucking watch dealer, bro.
Oh yeah, you can, and he did.
There's no way. How many fucking cocks can you go through?
They piece it even further.
Flipping Rolexes, bro.
They find
how much is a fucking hand job?
They
$100, $200.
No, there they were like $1,000. Like it was,
no, bro. Okay.
Dude, it was geared towards the ultra rich. Okay, they find the profile. Not only that, they find the profile of a guy who appeared in the early videos, but was then X'd out of them. It was this one guy who appeared and they talked about him. He's like, he's our investor. He's one of our investors or whatever. And they find him on the same profile. So these fucking Reddit snoops pieced together that fucking Timepiece Gentleman was jerking off this guy, met him. And the reason that he's flying across the country to deliver these watches is to jerk off other rich guys while he's delivering these fucking watches.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
I just want to, okay.
Yeah.
I process. Okay. You're telling me, I just want to understand this correctly. His primary source of income was happy endings.
Originally, yes.
After a happy ending, he came up with a brilliant idea of, hey, I can flip the watch of the guy that I just jerked off.
Yes.
And then started offering that as a supplementary service.
Yes. Yes. Originally as like a brokerage, like, oh, I love watches too. I'm the world's best salesman. Let me sell your watch.
Well, I mean, if he's fucking jerking you off, I mean, technically is quite a brilliant fucking salesman. I don't know many salesmen or women that are jerking you off to close a deal, bro.
Listen, man, you got to get where you got to get, right? I mean, that's sales.
Holy shit, bro.
So now that the story gets crazier.
Yeah. How can it get crazier than that?
So the reason why these Reddit snoops were after him so much is that he started letting the fame get to him. Everyone's like, how do you afford this lifestyle? And his response was always like, go fuck yourself. How do you think I afford it? I'm fucking rich. I'm fucking beautiful. Like, ego blown up. So he angered the internet snoops or sloops, or, he angered the people of Reddit. And it was a big mistake because they find this shit. What's a sloop? I don't know. I think it's a term that they use. But he angered them, man. And they did a deep dive. And that's not the only thing that they started finding out. They started going after his past. They started going in deep. They started finding out details about like loans that he'd taken out and stuff like that. They started calling him Tony Tugger, which honestly, great name, first of all. Once that news kind of hit, things started to take a turn because it was verified. And it was like, oh, this is actually how he got his start. All of a sudden, his partner wants to separate from him. His partner, Marco, who's a vintage expert, a good guy, and he wants to step away from him. Things getting too real. Anthony is like doubling and tripling down. Like, no, fuck yourself.
Dude, this is
like,
straight fiction, bro.
I know. I'm rich. I'm whatever. Fine. They separate. Okay, the two guys separate. Anthony goes on this tirade. He's like, fuck this. Like, he tries to do what worked last time.
Yeah.
Being the ultra wealthy, right? Like, people like find out he's renting all these cars that he's driving, all this crazy shit he's doing. And they're like, how is he affording this? Well, guess how he was affording it? He was using consignment money to fund his own lifestyle. So if he took in a $300,000 watch and sold it, he'd wait and use that money in between to buy these fucking ridiculous dinners, this lifestyle. And kind of like was able to trick others by saying, hey, it's a business expense. It's all this is for the video. It's for the cloud. It's a write-off, like all this kind of crazy shit. And on top of it, he's like selling courses, how to be a watch dealer. He's opening like a private, he's paying me $1,000 a month and you could join my VIP watch channel where I'll sell you all this stuff at wholesale. And people paid it, joined it, and found out it was the same pricing that he'd give anywhere, and they got no access to anything. They didn't get any priority like access. And it was like all these scams after scams. Business breaks up. He gets like well known around LA for like renting the most expensive residential condo in like the world. I think it was like $1 million a month or something stupid rental.
Dude, what the fuck, man?
Yeah. And then all of a sudden the walls start closing in. Clients start making public cries and saying, he owes me like $500,000 and he hasn't paid me. Another guy like $2 million personally. Like, he owes me and he's not paying. He sold these watches like 4 months ago.
So what the fuck happened to this guy now?
He went on the run because the FBI like put charges, the prosecutor general and everything, like fucking put charges of like fraud and all these different sort of things and embezzlement. Okay. And basically all in, I think it was like an $8 million Ponzi scheme that he was running where he defrauded his investors of $8 million to fund his lavish lifestyle and his bullshit. And he was on the run for like a month until he was finally apprehended, and now he's in prison. So
he's actually in prison right now?
He's in jail right now. Yeah. Prison. Yeah.
So he's went full circle back to jerking off men.
It's like poetic justice.
For survival.
It's poetic justice, man. So
holy shit. Okay, so our first shite, basically.
Yeah, so he'll be God tier.
Yeah. Fuck. It's a God tier fucking story.
It's a God tier story.
Fuck, man.
But he is a piece of shit, worthless piece of shit. And, defrauding your investors, defrauding your No, I'd put him in Hublot. I think that's yeah, just shove him right at the bottom. Yeah. Degenerate. Yeah. Total fucking guy.
Wow.
Yeah. And yeah, so that's our tier list, guys.
We're missing a fucking shite category.
Hublot is the shite category.
No, Hublot is below the shit category.
No, shite.
Yeah, no, but Hublot, no, I'm telling Julien that Hublot is worse than shit.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I'm
saying
Tony
Tugger deserves to be in Hublot.
I don't disagree. We need a shit.
Oh, we need somebody to move it to shit.
Yeah, we should be in shit.
That's a good point.
We should be in shit.
We need to...
Because we started this video with being in shit.
You're 100% right.
And we're shit. So there you go.
There we go. If we needed somebody in the shit category, as these guys wrangle up our logo, I think that's a fitting end to our journey here on this tier list, man. I think that's,
Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Looking forward to all the hateful comments. I look forward to being called bald once again.
And there we are in shit category. So at least you could say we're honest. Thanks for watching, guys.